Hi everyone, I'm April. That's Freya, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks, and this is a crafting edition. So, I did a lot of stuff, but I only finished a few of them. So let's get started. If you are new here, thank you for coming, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. You know what, let's start with what I edited. So from last time, y'all might remember this test knit that I did for Rachel Ramo. It was the Miri Raglan, and I had done it per pattern, per the test knit, and it ended right about here, and it kind of rolled up. And I had said that I would like to make it longer. Well, I did that. So I added about 6 inches. It's kind of hard to hold up. I added about 6 inches. And the thing that I wanted to show you the most about this is that on the back, you can see that it's significantly shorter. Now, the reason why I made the bottom longer in front and shorter in back is because of the way that I am built. My belly is bigger than my bust, and that means that tops tend to ride up in front. So even though this pattern isn't technically a cropped, it hits right at the natural waist. On me, it looks cropped, and then it would just kind of slide up, and before you know it, the bottom hem is up here. Another change that I made is the bottom hem was a rolled hem, kind of like how it is up here in the neck. I didn't care for that either because that just added to the bottom edge being shorter. So I did continue this cabled edge. I echoed it from what was on the short sleeves. Now to get the front longer than the back, working in the round, what I did was, because I was working these cables along the sides, this made it much easier for me to do. These are 6-row repeats, and so once every repeat from the point where I added length, so probably from about here, once every repeat, I would do a back and forth short row only in the front, and I did that 5 times. So that gave me about 1.5 inches extra length in the front, on top of adding overall 6 inches. So the back got an extra 6 inches, the front got an extra about 7.5 inches. And I will put a picture here if you haven't seen it on my Instagram. On Instagram, I'm the Tangled Cat. But I'll put a picture here of what that ended up looking like, as opposed to what it was when I finished the test. So I got this done to my satisfaction, and I am so happy. It's so comfortable, and I love wearing it, and I'm definitely going to make another one. Okay, so what else did I work on? Well, I thought I'm going to make socks, Christmas socks for my daughter. And I knew that I wanted to do them in worsted or DK. So I had this yarn from Pandia's Jewels that I bought a couple Christmases ago. I think it was the last winter that she was still dyeing yarn. And I'm going to try to take this out of the center so I can show you. It is a worsted. It was her Pandia's Jewels Cozy Worsted, and the colorway is called Peppermint. This is so, so pretty. It's a bright green with dark burgundy that kind of fades down into pinks and eventually to white. The green also kind of fades into this aqua color and then into the white. Very, very pretty. And let's see, I guess I could talk about this. This is a worsted weight, 100% superwash merino wool. This was 218 yards per gram, and I had 2 of them. So this is what's left of one ball. This is about 50, no. Yeah, this is about 50 grams. So I could make another sock out of it, but I didn't want to risk it. So I chose to do one sock per ball. So this is the first sock that I did, and it's top down. And let's show you without the stitch markers. So I did a 1x1 rib. You can see how the colors kind of spiraled. Love that. I did a 1x1 rib, and then I did a fish lips kiss heel. And then I did the spiral toe. And it went by really, really quickly, and I was about to start on the second ball, the bigger one. I got this far when I got distracted. Oh, you know me. I'm very easily distracted. And by the way, these are worsted, but I'm knitting them on a US 3, which I think is a 3.25 millimeter. She has the zoomies. And she's very cranky. Yeah, 3.25 millimeter US size 3 on my 9-inch circulars. So that makes for a very dense fabric, which is fine because these are going to be indoor house socks. Very warm, very cozy. I really like making socks on heavier weight yarn because they go so fast. So when I stop being distracted, I will get back to the other one. So what else did I do? I got distracted because I saw this ball of yarn that I'd had forever, and I had started a scarf, and it was crochet. I don't have the label anymore. I've had this yarn for I don't know how long. It's a DK. I think it was listed. I don't think it said worsted on it, but the way that it felt working with it, it felt like a DK, maybe a heavy sport. But this is a white and gray ombre kind of thing, long color changes. And I worked this, I don't remember the hook size, but I can look that up. And I just did a crocheted seed stitch, which is just single crochet, chain one, single crochet, chain one. And then on the next row, you single crochet in the chain one spaces and chain one over the single crochets. And this is for a child because I am donating this to the library whenever they do their donation for children's winter wear. Probably pretty soon they're going to be putting up the Christmas tree in the library, and then everybody just kind of goes and puts their little donations for hats and scarves and mittens and stuff on the tree. So I did that, and I wanted to put something cute on the bottom end. I thought I had enough of this burgundy. I think this is a red heart something or other, but I didn't have as much as I wanted, so the fringe is kind of sparse, but that's okay. It's fine. It'll still keep somebody's little neck warm. I could have made that scarf a little longer, but I also wanted a hat out of it. And this one was a pattern it was on Ravelry by, what is it? Samantha Atanasio. And it's called a 5-stitch ripple hat. And again, crochet. It was crocheted with the same hook as the scarf. And that turned out super cute. Now this is an adult size pattern, but I crocheted on a smaller than recommended hook, and I did one less repeat. So I did fewer rows to make it a little bit shorter. And then I added, this is something that I decided to do that's not on the pattern, and I did a crab stitch border. So those are going to be donated. And then somehow I got distracted by a video that I think I saw on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook. I saw a video on Facebook that was Tunisian crochet, and I didn't know Tunisian crochet could look like this. So I grabbed this sport weight yarn, that's been sitting around forever. What is it called? It's called Baby Soft. It's 60% acrylics, 40% nylon. It's called Sweet Pea. And this is a Tunisian crochet pattern. And I didn't know Tunisian crochet could look lacy. I always thought it was like a close woven type of fabric that you would get. I don't even have a Tunisian crochet hook. I did this little bit, this scarf, on just my regular boy hook, I should say. And it worked out fine. I think if I wanted a wider piece, I would have needed the specific Tunisian crochet hook, either the very long one or the one that's about this long but has a cord on the end. But this worked fine for this. So then that got me thinking, maybe I can use up some yarn that I have sitting around and make a Tunisian scarf, just a traditional Tunisian. So I don't even know why I have so much of either of these. I don't really care for either color, but I must have at some point. But I've had these for probably decades. Well, no, this one I've had for a little bit. Maybe 10 years. This is some Brava worsted by Knit Picks in the almond color. And I had like 3 balls of this. Don't know why. And then I've had so much of this pink. This is a red heart yarn. It's like a blush color, and I've had it literally decades, and I never knew what to make with it. I've tried so many things, and I've put it in things here and there, but I just did not know what I wanted because I don't really care for either color. So they both sat and sat. Well, what I did was I believe this was an N hook, which I think is a 9mm. And I went and found on YouTube, I believe it was the TL Yarn Crafts, which is Tony. She does a lot of Tunisian crochet. And so I was trying to relearn the basics because I used to do it a long time ago, but it's been so long. So I went to her video and I basically followed it. I held those 2 colors together and I actually like how that looks better. And I just did a simple Tunisian crochet and then did some much fuller fringe, but I like how this looks with the 2 colors held together. So this is also going to be donated when the time comes. You're very chatty today. She's doing that thing where they look at the wall with their ears turned back and they yowl, and I'm like, I don't know what she's seeing, but I hope it doesn't get me. So that's what I did. That was a whole bunch of crochet that I did there. And then I thought, before I get back to that sock, I really, really want to get back to a sweater that I had been working on 3 years ago. So what was that project? Well, 3 or so years ago, Jana from Purl Together was doing a knit along for the campsite cardi, and I did it. I started it, and I got as far as the entire body. That's the inside. I got the whole body, and look at how pretty that color is. It's like a purpley, bluey, royally blue, but I did the whole body, and then I let it sit. I didn't do the sleeves. I didn't do the collar. It sat and sat for 3 years. So I decided to finally pick that up, and I am about 3/4 of the way done with the first sleeve. Now the yarn that I'm using, I'm working this on a US 8. The yarn that I'm using is 2 held together. This is Knit Picks Stroll Tonal. And I don't think this color I think it's discontinued, but it's a blue purpley color called Deep Waters. And then I'm holding it together with a single strand of the Knit Picks Aloft, which is their mohair. And this colorway is called Celestial. So those two together are making this absolutely gorgeous color, and I am in love, and I'm so glad that I pulled that out. So I'm working on that, but I got distracted yet again because it's what I do. Now, a while back, I had bought a whole bunch of these giant balls from Hobie. It's saying on here, We Heart Yarn Mega Ball. And this is the lighter weight version because they've got an Aran weight, and then this one, which is kind of like a sport weight, maybe a DK. I don't think it's a worsted, but I decided to pull that out because I found this pattern, and I will put a picture here, and mum's the word. I am making this for my daughter. She knows I'm making her a top. She doesn't know that it has skulls all over it because I want to surprise her, but I know she's going to love it. I'm already having a really good time with it. Now, even though this is DK worsted weight-ish kind of yarn, I'm knitting it on a very, very tiny USD, D as in David, hook, which is a 3.25 millimeter. This is usually the type of yarn that you would use, maybe like a 4.25 or a 4.5 millimeter hook. But I went down for a couple reasons. One, when I crochet, my gauge is very loose, so I always go down 1 or 2 hook sizes. And then as I started working this, oh, you can already see the skulls. Oh wait, shh, skulls. I liked this fabric. I was using an E, but that left a little bit too much space in the solid sections for my liking, so I went down. Now this pattern, it is technically size inclusive because you can use any weight yarn, any size hook to whatever your gauge is, and then the size of the top is done by using your gauge and the person who's receiving the top, and combining those two together to figure out your stitch count. And my daughter falls in between 2 sizes, and the problem with that for this particular pattern is that the pattern repeat is over 30 stitches long. So either she's way too small, the top would be way too small, or it would be way too big. So I thought, and it's made in a front panel, back panel, and each sleeve. So I thought, I'm going to try this, and I hope it works. And I did all the math, and I decided to do the front panel in the size that's just a little bit too big, and I'm going to do the back panel in the size that's a little too small. And then combined, that's going to average out to be just the right fit for her. And the reason I think that's going to work is because our backs are generally pretty flat, but our fronts is where all of the size changes happen. Her bust, you know, where the bust is and everything, it's not, her front is not flat. So I figured the bigger size in the front isn't going to matter too much. And if it's a little tight along the back, it'll pull that and kind of even it out. It'll look the same the way that this top that I just showed you, where I have the longer front on the body, on my body anyway. You can't tell that the front is longer just because of the shape of my body. Now, the shape of her body, the way this is going to work, you're not going to be able to see that the front panel is a little bit longer than the back panel. But on the hanger, you're going to be able to see that it's a little droopy in the front and for the same amount of width in the back, if that makes any kind of sense. I'm really not going to be able to show you that until it's done, but I think it's going to work out. I'm having a really good time with it. The pattern is both charted and written out, and I'm having a good time, other than the fact that because I am using such a small hook with this worsted yarn, I keep splitting the yarn, so I keep having to pull a few stitches out here and there. I'm trying to be very mindful of what I'm doing and not just go, so that I split it less. But other than that, it's going really, really well. Is that everything that I wanted to show you? No. Hold on one second. You might be able to tell that it's kind of cold here in New Mexico. We finally got a couple of cold days. I think it's going to warm up at the end of the week a little bit, and then we'll probably go right back down. But I was cold, so I wore a cowl that I made a long time ago with some more Pandia Jewels yarn, and I love this. I don't remember the name of this. I would definitely have to look it up, but I wanted my hair out of the way today, so I pulled it back, and then my neck was cold, so I threw this on, and I've got a sweater over my clothes. A sweater, by the way, that I bought online, and I overestimated their size as opposed to my body, and it ended up being 2 sizes too big, so it's super huge, but it's fine. I wear it around the house, and I throw it over my clothes, and I'm super cozy. So anyways, what else I was going to show you is I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of these socks here. I got a hole in one of them. Underneath the big toe and the second toe, I had a big hole. I don't know how that happened, because these have only been done for about 1.5 years. And if you think about it, here in New Mexico, I don't wear socks for about 8 months of the year. No, that's a lie. For about maybe 7 months of the year, I don't wear socks. The rest of the time I do wear them, but I don't wear one pair every day. So this was only one winter's worth of being worn, and I had a hole, which has never happened. The only other hole that I had to ever repair was a pair of socks that I had for almost 20 years. So I don't know why I got this hole. Maybe I snagged it on something. I don't know. But it was kind of big, and I chose to not darn them. I don't really care for darning. I did it on that one time, and it's just not my thing. I didn't care for it. So I just decided to snip off the toe of the toes, because I decided to do it to both socks. Snipped off the toes, that way they match, and redo the toes, which I was worried about because these socks were knit toe up. No. Yes, toe up. So since I'm going to be cutting off the toes, I would be doing toe down or cuff down in that direction. And I know that the orientation of the stitches is a little bit different when you look at them upside down. So I was a little bit worried. And then I found, after I decided I'm just going to do it, and I pulled it out, and it's a little weird pulling out your stitches from the opposite direction. But once I got it going, it was all right. It was a little bit difficult because I was using 2 colors. She is over there behind me trying to grab something off the table. No, I don't know what it is, but it's not for you. She's being crazy today. Anyway, so it was a little bit difficult pulling it out in the wrong direction, plus the fact that I was striping colors every row, so that made it a little weird. But once I finally got it out and I got it back on the needles, thank goodness for Ravelry, because that's the only way I would have remembered what needle size I was using. And then I found my little jar of scraps that I will be using at some point for other toes and heels and cuffs and whatever. And I found this ball. I mean, I could have chosen from anything, literally anything. browns. There's a lot of beiges in here, cream colors. There's a very dark green. I was kind of thinking of doing this, but then I thought, no, no, I want that to be in something else, but I don't know what yet. So I ended up going with this brownie reddish color. I'm trying to see if the light will. And I don't know what yarn this is. This might be a 3 Irish Girls yarn, or it might be a Pandia's Jewels. I don't know. I've had this so long. I don't even remember what I used the rest of this skein in. But here's my socks. Let's see. Now it was this purple and this green that I was striping. And it's a tweed type of yarn, both of them, and they have all of these colorful flecks, the noops in it. I was striping these two in the toe, and then I got that hole. So I pulled it back, and I right at the color change is where this pattern started. So I didn't want to go that far, so I kept one stripe of the purple, and then I worked the toe in this direction. So now I've got 2 matching socks, even though that color doesn't really go, but I really didn't have anything else that was gonna go in this without opening another full ball of yarn, and I wasn't gonna do that. So that's what I did. I did a little toeectomy and I got it done. So that is all I've got as far as knitting. I did want to mention that I noticed that I have crossed 200 subscribers, which I've been doing this since January of 2018. And yes, I know it seems pathetic that I only have just over 200 subscribers, but I like that I have a small following and I can be who I want to be, say what I want to say, and not have to worry, because I've mentioned this before, I'm never going to be professional. This is all done on my cell phone. I don't even have a computer at home. All the editing is done on my cell phone. The uploading is done on my cell phone. I don't have special lighting and I don't have microphones and all of that. And most of the time I'm just rambling on and just being myself. And I like that. I don't want to have to feel like this is a chore. I just want to sit down and record and spend a little time with showing you guys what I got going on. And I'm glad that there are some of you who enjoy watching what I put out, and I am so appreciative of you all. But I like that I have a small community. I think I would probably feel so nervous if I was a bigger channel, honestly. But I did want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and I really appreciate you all spending a little bit of time with me, and yeah. So yay. That is all I've got for today, and I will see you all again next month. Hopefully I will have the skull sweater and the pretty blue cardigan done to show you, assuming that I don't get, oh, and the peppermint socks done next time. So have a good month, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.